y'all, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be over this Hard Candy all matte eyeshadow palette. So yeah, I found this not too long ago at Walmart and I was like, holy crap, this is $10 for an all matte eyeshadow palette. I was like, we need to do a video over this. I think I've only seen one video over this palette actually, so maybe it's something new, different. Maybe Hard Candy just came out with it, but if you want to see this palette in action with swatches and reviews, then please keep on watching. So like I did say, I did find this palette at Walmart and it was $10. $10 for all of these shades, and to be completely honest, once you see the swatch and everything on my arm, you'll be able to understand, but just jumping straight into it, the top row right here of colors, and like I said, you'll see with swatches, literally look exactly the same. The most pigmented shade is probably this last shade right here. And they're just kind of more yellowy, purplish shades. I feel like all the light shades almost have a reflect of purple in them, except this really, really yellow one right here in the center. Then you have the middle row that is really mostly browns, and they are a little bit chalky. They're not as smooth as you would expect, but then again, it's a $10 eyeshadow palette from Hard Candy. It's not like it's one of those kind of hidden gem things. It's okay, but it's not something kind of extraordinary. They're really chalky. They're kind of pigmented, kind of not. You'll have to see with the swatches, like I did say. But then the last row, you kind of have this weird mix of colors. I find it weird. You have a dark purple, you have a black, you have a darker brown, a red, and this really weird blue. I don't really see a pattern in this palette. There's not really like a theme going on. I feel like this blue is really random. I don't know, it's kind of weird. Everything seems to have like a little light of a purple undertone under it. But yeah, as far as the eyeshadows go in the actual packaging, I like the packaging. I like how it's see-through. The studs are really cute. And one thing I really like about this is it has this little button right here on the front that you press to open it up, so it doesn't just like pop close. And you do get two different brushes, which is actually really cool. You get one that has like kind of a shader brush, a fluffy brush, and then one has more of like a detail brush for your outer V and a pencil brush for your lower lash line. So they are usable. If you were a beginner in makeup, you didn't have brushes to use, you could use those. Another thing is the inside, it does have a mirror, and when you actually look at it, the mirror is perfect in line with your eyeballs as you're looking also at the shadows. So that was really cool of them just to tuck a mirror in there. So I do have the palette pulled up on Hard Candy's website itself, just to read off exactly what they say. It says this palette contains 15 matte eyeshadow shades for 4 professional eyeshadow brushes. Everything you need to create makeup artist quality looks for any occasion. That sounded weird. These shades have been curated to include the perfect range of blending, crease, accent, and lid colors. There's no shimmers, obviously, because it is matte. Create any look you desire, from simple to dramatic or neutral to bold. So it's basically stating that you can create anything you want with this. I don't know, I kind of beg to differ because I kind of like to use shimmers on like my brow bone inner corner, but you know, we're just gonna apply it to our eyeballs and see what happens. I did already do my brows, just kind of lightly, more natural. I've been liking like the feathery brow thing. I did prime my eyelids, obviously, because we're just focusing on eyes. Use a Milani eyeshadow primer for this, and then I'm going to apply some tape to the outer edges of my eyes right here just to create a line. So I have not set my primer yet, so that's the first thing we're going to do is actually set our primer. And I'm just going to take the most skin tone shade in here, which happens to be this one right here. It has a little bit more of a skin tone color to it, and when you rub your finger into the palette, they feel smooth, they feel promising, but when you swatch them, that one doesn't really live up to the expectations I'm hoping for, but obviously it could be different on your eyes. So I'm just going to take a fluffy brush, and they're not too powdery. They're a little powdery, but not too powdery. And I'm going to set my primer. So you can definitely tell the eye I set versus the eye I have not set. This one definitely has more coverage to it and is a lot brighter. Now we're just going to start off like, you know, we normally would, and I'm going to apply a crease color, and I'm going to go directly underneath the first shade and use this kind of more ashy brown on a fluffy brush, and we're just going to apply this in our crease and above our crease. And I'm getting some eyeshadow pigment on my brush, but not a whole lot. And this shade's a lot more powdery than the last one. So I'm just going to start working this into my crease. I feel like I'm not really seeing this one show up, and I've never used this palette before, obviously, but I feel like it's not showing up that well. Like, look in the viewfinder right now, I feel like I see a very small hue of brown on my eye, but nothing like, you know, like transition color. But okay, so I feel like adding enough color now. You definitely have some kick up around that one shade. I finally got a nice hue of the brown. It's not a lot of color, but it's enough there to be considered a transition shade in my opinion. Now we're gonna go in with a little more of a denser brush, and I'm gonna take one of the darker browns. I'm gonna take the brown next to it, this one that kind of has like more of a brownish purplish. See, that one just, the pigment on here, you can't even really see that. It just, I don't know, it's just not that good in my opinion. So a lot of these are hit and miss. But I'm going to take that and apply it into my crease. And you know, for $10 an all matte eyeshadow palette, like you have the e.l.f. Matte for Matte that is honestly amazing. Like, I love that palette so much. I really need to do a video with it, but it's hard to compete with a palette like that because honestly the Matte for Matte 1 and Matte for Matte 2 are staples. I mean, I feel like everybody has that in their collection because it's $10 for, you know, matte shades that are blendable, that are so good, and they're reliable. And I feel like it's kind of hard to obviously trump that because it's such a good palette. And I feel like this shade is like the last one. I feel like there's not very much pigment to it. I feel like they're just not blended into each other, but I feel like it's just one shadow. There's not really a difference between them. So I'm gonna take the middle shade right here and apply that. Yeah, this one's a little more pigmented, but honestly, it's nothing dramatic. Like, you can kind of see the brown right there, but so I'm going to go in with a different brush now, a more detailed brush and a darker shade. We're gonna try to build up our outer V now because I feel like this is kind of just like a brown hue on my eyes. And we're going to take a mix of the black and this darker brown right here and try to build up that outer V because right now we're not working with very much. And even these colors, like, you can't even see that right there. Yeah, I have like fallout like everywhere. This is so bad. Okay, see, but the thing is, I'm supposed to review these stuff for you though. That way y'all guys know, like, hey, let's not spend our money on that. Okay, so just going in with the first brush we use, going to buff these out. I'm not gonna get any more pigment from those shadows than what I've already done because I have dipped into these shadows so much already and nothing's really coming off. So we're gonna try and put a bright shade on our lid. I'm gonna take the kind of like white bony shade on a flat shader brush and see what happens. I'm gonna put this in my inner corner and a little bit on the lid. Okay, so that brightened, but it didn't like brighten like, you know, other shadows would. And I'm gonna try one more thing. I'm gonna take this red because this red honestly is intriguing me. The swatch is okay, it wasn't the best thing ever. I'm gonna take the red and put it in the outer V. Like, no red's coming off. I'm rubbing my brush in here and there's red on the brush, but there's no red coming off on my eyeball. Like, there's nothing. And there's all this, oh my goodness. Oh, this is so bad. Oh, this is so bad. I don't think I've ever tried this bad of an eyeshadow palette before. Normally everything I try to find the goodness in it. Like, I really try to obviously be optimistic about everything and, you know, try to find the goodness in every product I use, but some stuff, honestly, I'm just like, why would you release that? And this is one of them. Like, that cream shade that I put on my inner corner looks okay underneath my brow bone, but like, I wouldn't buy this for the cream shade. So I don't know, I've made a complete mess of this palette with fallout and my face looks horrible. I need to clean all of this up. I'm going to take the tape off, apply mascara, lashes, and eyeliner, and then I will come back and we can finish up the lower lash line. Okay, so I finished the eyes, put liner on, mascara, and lashes. I believe the lashes I use are the Ardell Demi Wispies. Honestly, I couldn't remember. And then NYX liner in the waterline. And then mascara is just the Maybelline Great Lash Lots of Love one. But I started thinking about it, really looking at the eyeshadow when I was putting my mascara and everything on. And the only reason I would use this palette outside of obviously this video is if I really wanted a natural like wash of color to my eyes one day. Maybe I'm going for like a natural glam look like this, for example. Or if you're a person who is beginning with eyeshadow and you may be a little intimidated, I think this palette would work for you because it's really obviously not that pigmented. So you really get a light wash of color. Like I'm able to see the browns and the reds, but it's not to the pigmentation I have of like my Lorac or Violet Voss or Urban Decay shades. It's definitely not up there. It's just a really light wash of color. Probably this middle brown shade and the red shade on a pencil brush and just apply that to my lower lash line. So shades look good on my lower lash line. I mean, wasn't expecting them to look good, but they do look pretty good. And I'm going to apply some mascara and then we'll re-highlight the inner corner. And then I'm going to finish the rest of my makeup. Really look at the eyes really like that. Form an opinion on it now that I've used the palette on my eyes, and then I will be right back to give my final wrap up and thoughts over the Hard Candy palette. Okay, so I finished my full face of makeup. I actually filmed a dupes video with some concealers. I duped the MAC Pro Longwear concealer for the Maybelline Master Conceal. So the video will probably be up after this, so I will either link it down below or put a card. But as for this eyeshadow palette, I don't like it. I don't like it for my personal taste. That's just because I'm so used to pigmented eyeshadows like the Mona Renaissance, Lorac, Violet Voss, Morphe. I'm just so used to those shadows that I don't really care for it that much. Like I did say, if I want like a nice wash of color, like I honestly really like this makeup look with this lip. So I would use this palette again for this look. Or like if I wanted a really not like natural eye like this, I would use it again. But if you're somebody who like is like me, or if you're used to pigmented shadows that pack a punch, I would skip on this even though it is $10. I just don't see you spending $10 on it. You'd be better off buying the e.l.f. Mad for Matte for $10 than this. And this is a really weird shade range compared to the Mad for Matte by e.l.f. So I definitely would go for that one over this one. I just think this was a bust by Hard Candy. I don't know if they didn't like try it out. I don't know if they know how this like really performs on your eyes, but it's really not that great. Which does suck because I always get excited when the drugstore releases new things like this, because it's like, oh look, this is something that could be, you know, the next big thing that could be the best $10 eyeshadow palette. But unfortunately it wasn't. But if you are beginning with makeup or you like a light wash of color, I think that palette would be perfect for you. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. This lip color is Too Faced Melted Lipstick in Chocolate Honey, I believe. And the gloss I think is NYX Butter Gloss and Tiramisu. Like I'm like fall vibes right now, but I'm always fall vibes. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and I will see you guys later. Bye y'all.